So first of all, I think federal officials play a really important role in the response to any national crisis, and certainly that includes the coronavirus pandemic. From my perspective, I was certainly proud to work alongside my colleagues in both parties as we passed multiple coronavirus relief packages that the president signed into law immediately. So that's, obviously something that I was excited for us to see because these packages delivered critical measures in terms of including, direct payments to folks, providing relief for our small businesses, expanding things like unemployment insurance and enacting paid sick leave so that folks weren't forced to choose between going to work and staying healthy. But there are still a lot of massive challenges that we're facing. And unfortunately, we still don't have a national testing strategy, which I've been pushing this administration to enact and follow through on. And, I'm going to continue to push for that. We need to make sure that we get this virus under control so that our families and our economy can be safe and healthy and vibrant again. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Paycheck Protection Program was something that, so many businesses, small businesses in Kansas and in our community saw as a lifeline. And I definitely think that we need to continue to support that program, expand that program where where it makes sense, and then continue to make sure that we've got transparency in that program as well. I introduced a piece of legislation to require transparency around the relief funds because we have to make sure that these funds are going to the small businesses here in Kansas and not just to, the largest corporations or the politically connected companies that don't actually need the help. So I'm going to continue to fight for the Paycheck Protection Program and continue to make sure that the funding is there and that the accountability and transparency is there as well, because I really think that that's going to be a huge part of bringing our economy back stronger. The idea of helping our small businesses is, of course, something that not just me, but a lot of my colleagues have been pushing for. And like a lot of people in our community, we see that it's hitting everybody. I mean, the families, workers, like so many people are struggling just to get by during this public health and economic crisis. So I would definitely support. Again, sending direct payments to Americans, which we did in one of the previous bipartisan coronavirus relief packages. Also, expanding unemployment insurance was something that I thought was really important that we worked on, and enacting paid sick leave so that folks don't have to choose between their health and their job. And I'm going to continue to push for expanded paid leave and then tax credits for small businesses so that we can help keep the small businesses afloat during this time as well. Well, this is certainly a really important topic. Like a lot of folks in our community and in the metro area, I think that, a lot of us recognize that too many lives have been lost to injustice in this country. And Kansans and certainly people across the country have been raising their voices and demanding change. And I do think that's what this moment calls for. I recently voted for the Justice and Policing Act, which would enact a comprehensive set of reforms to law enforcement to increase transparency and accountability and improve police training and practices. And, in my conversations with law enforcement officials in Kansas, I know I heard repeated support for these kinds of efforts. I do think that they're necessary steps that we have to be taking to build trust between the communities and law enforcement, the communities that they're sworn to protect and serve. And, I also think that we need to make sure that we're funding mental health and treatment plans and programs, because we certainly have to remove that piece of things from law enforcement, so that they're not focusing on that things that should be, they shouldn't be saddled with addressing mental health issues and substance abuse and that sort of thing. I've heard from a lot of folks um, since taking office and even before I was elected. And like a lot of folks in Kansas, it's heartbreaking, the epidemic of gun violence. And then, additionally, the epidemic of mass shootings that we've been seeing in our across the country, but we've seen it in our own community. And as somebody who is the daughter of an Army veteran, I certainly respect the Second Amendment, and really just the power of firearms. And I definitely think that law-abiding citizens shouldn't have their rights infringed on. But I am tired of politicians who've been, frankly, bending to the influence of the gun lobby and have done very little to almost nothing to stop the senseless killings and deaths that we've seen. I've taken the lead on some of the common sense solutions that I think are going to help keep our community safe, keep our children safe. And in fact, in the first couple of months that I was in office, I voted to pass bipartisan gun safety measures that would implement things like universal background checks and close loopholes on gun purchases, because there are definitely some common sense safety measures so we can help make sure that people are safer. No, I don't support the repeal of the Affordable Care Act. I think that, first of all, repealing the Affordable Care Act would cause millions of people to lose health coverage, which would be unacceptable at any time, but particularly when we're in the midst of a global pandemic. And, during this time of uncertainty, folks shouldn't have to worry about whether or not they're going to receive the care that they or their families need to stay healthy. And that's a big part of why I'm fighting to protect the Affordable Care Act, by lowering the cost of premiums, by lowering the cost of prescription drugs, and trying to make sure it's easier for families to get access to affordable, quality healthcare. And the last thing I'll say is that I've been a strong proponent of Medicaid expansion. And that's because it would increase access to affordable health coverage for so many people in Kansas. And the kinds of things that we need to do right now are support policies that are going to help more people get access to coverage. And so I don't support repealing the Affordable Care Act. Yeah, that's a really great question. So first of all, I think we absolutely can both ensure that we have safe and accessible elections. I think that those two things can definitely be done. And right now, during the pandemic, I think that part of the way that we do that is to ensure that everybody can vote by mail if that's what they want to do to stay safe. And it's part of the reason that I've been fighting so hard to make sure that our postal service stays intact, that they've got the resources that they need. And I've been pushing back on this administration's attacks to try to change the Postal Service or in any way infringe on the Postal Service's ability to meet its mission. And, in March, we passed a bill and funding to make sure that our state and local election offices can cover some of the unexpected costs of the coronavirus pandemic. But certainly more is needed. And I'm going to keep pushing to have additional election administration funding and aid to state and local governments so that we can make sure that people can vote safely and securely. As the representative for the 3rd District in Kansas, I will always prioritize being open and accessible to the folks in our community. And, the reason that I feel like accessibility and being able to listen to everybody across the district, no matter where they're at, is because even if we don't agree on 100% of things, and that's totally a normal thing, folks need to know that their representative is here to listen. And that's exactly what I'm here to do. It's the reason that immediately we opened 2 district offices. We do pop-up office hours all around the district. Now we're doing them virtually because that's what the time calls for. But our office and everyone's member of Congress should be there to listen to them and to help them navigate the federal government. And that's exactly what I'm going to keep doing. And that's my promise to the 3rd District in Kansas.